submitting. Let me record. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the steps just to show you. And then I may go ahead and pull up Blackboard too. And that way we can go back and forth. So it's not very convenient because you are working with two different platforms. So I'm working in Exact because that's where the students and the fieldwork educators are submitting their documents. But then I'm having to go to Blackboard to record those. And I tell the students, if there is not a grade for you in Blackboard, then we don't have a record of your assignment.
Okay.
And actually, I wonder if I can go ahead and add you. I might do that while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, that was on my to-do today, was to ask Ann or you to add me as a instructor on record for that.
There you are.
2 chapters, baby girl.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you are right here. So there you are. Yay. And then we'll go to the grade book. And with the recent snowstorm, we've had students who don't have power. But a lot of the fieldwork educators were out because, the schools are still closed today. They've been closed for 2 weeks. This is
my word.
You're
about to pull your hair out.
Yes, it is. It's been bad. So you can imagine that the students, in the school system, all of that has been, and I'll show you some of the notes when we get to that section. But because of that, you aren't going to see, or you might see some assignments that are missing, and that's okay. So I'm not sure if you've used Ultra. It's a little bit different than the original Blackboard in that I have set everything up to where you have to manually post something. So here, let's see. So when you click on it, you'll see an option. These are already posted, but it'll say post. And this just allows you to go through. It's kind of like how you would hide the grading until it was done for all of the students.
Okay.
It's just essentially the same thing. And so now you have to just hit this little button up here and it'll say post, and you just hit post to indicate that it's been completed.
Okay. So are you waiting for all of their work to be in before you post it?
I prefer to grade. Well, no. So it's due, their midterm assignments, I have them due on the 15th. So I go ahead and put the grades in there as I start checking them off. And then I just go ahead and post it. But I do want to make sure I go through all the week 6 forms before I do that. I've gone through all the week 3 forms. And so they know that I've gone through the whole class, but these are the students who still are missing submissions.
Okay.
I hope is that clear?
So you would post it when they need to be putting in there. Is that correct?
Yes.
So they currently don't see week 6 form. Is that correct? They only see student week 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So if I put a score in right here, see how there's a check mark?
Yes.
But it doesn't say posted?
Right.
So then if I click on that, then I would hit post.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I wouldn't do that until I went through the entire class for week 6 forms or the entire class for the midterm. Gotcha. But it is helpful because then they know, she's already gone through all the assignments and she doesn't have a record of mine.
Okay.
In order to look at their learning activities, this is the tutorial video, but I'm just going to take you through it since we're in here together.
Perfect.
You'll go to placements on the right-hand side. And then you'll pick the class. So it's batch 2026 is the one. Stop it.
Is that the only class on Fieldwork correct right now?
That is the only class on level 2 Fieldwork.
And this is their first of 2?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you'll click on the Fieldwork, which is level 2 Fieldwork A.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. I'm thinking we're emailing them. Sorry. You're doing learning activities. Okay. So learning activities, sorry. Same thing, class of 2026. And then a level 2 Fieldwork A. And then you'll go to forms and evaluations.
Okay.
And so here, like this one says pending school review, it's yellow. So I could go ahead and look at that. And then these are the objectives that the student submitted. So if you approve, you'll click review. If it's not correct, you can select unsubmit to student and then type in a note and update it.
Okay.
And then once you update it, it'll turn green to indicate it's been reviewed. And now I'm going to go back to my other screen. And so I can go in here and I can add that.
And then you post it. I gotcha. Okay. How in depth are you reviewing, or are you assuming that the fieldwork educators are doing their job?
Well, we want to review the midterm to make sure the students are on track. So you're going to be reviewing, and this one's a little bit harder because they don't have the documents yet. Let me show you one where it's already been added.
Okay.
So this is one from the fall.
For their objectives, I mean, those are the ones that they came up with their on-site.
Those are the site-specific objectives. And like with that one, I went through it quick because I know the fieldwork educator, and those are the same ones that they submit each time for that facility.
Okay.
Yes, those, the sites, and now they're called something different. They're called site-specific expectations. There is a standardized form that the fieldwork educators will now get for the site-specific objectives. But we still want the students to talk to them, and it's mainly just a record to show that they've discussed what the site-specific expectations are.
Okay.
It doesn't often change for sites because they keep them pretty standardized from each fieldwork. But we just require they submit it as a way to demonstrate that they've reviewed it with their educator.
Okay.
And for forms and evaluations, this is an easier one because we've already been through each one. So you have site-specific objectives, and then for the midterm, you're going to be reviewing the standard fieldwork performance for the educator. Let me see if I can. So I was hoping it would show the midterm, but it combines them after they've completed it. But when you click on it, this is what it looks like. So for the midterm, I would go through the student's self-evaluation as well as the educator's evaluation, just to see if there's something that, is a red flag. Okay. Especially if there's anything, if they have a 1 on fundamentals of practice, that's a big red flag, and that we need to reach out to the student and also to the fieldwork educator, because if they score a 1 on this at final, they automatically fail.
Okay. So if they score a 1 at midterm, they'll fail at final?
No. So if they score 1 at midterm, that's just a red flag, and we would need to reach out to create a learning contract.
Okay.
Because if it does not improve, then they have to get a 3 for the final. They have to be proficient in fundamentals of practice because of ethics and safety.
Everybody across the board needs a 3 at final in order to pass fieldwork for fundamentals.
Yes, that's a national thing. That's not a UT thing. That is a national thing.
Okay.
So that's why if we see that they're not doing well in that area, we definitely want to reach out.
Okay.
And because that's a big red flag.
Are you reaching out if people are at 2, or are you just?
I am reaching out if they score below 80. And I put that in I
saw that on the document. If they score below 80, you need to reach out. Both the fieldwork educator and the student.
Yes, and then this is a link to a learning contract.
Okay.
That you can talk about. So it may be, depending on what setting the student's in, always checking the lab values prior to initiating treatment, always, going through the room to set it up for bed mobility and a wheelchair transfer, ensuring that, all the lines, tubes, and drains are on the right side of the bed and the chair. So it does need to be a collaborative process with the fieldwork educator to understand what specific areas the student needs more support in or needs more guidance in.
Okay.
So that is the midterm review. And then, of course, the student does their self-assessment. And usually it's helpful to go through these, but it's really the fieldwork educators' comments and evaluation that I'm more focused on. Take her outside. Okay. And then the week 6 form that you'll also be looking at is really helpful to see if there's any other red flags. It talks about the orientation process. As your educator provided positive role model. So you can just look at the numbers and just easily see, okay, does it seem like there are any issues? Does it seem like, it's it might not be a great match between the student's learning style and the fieldwork educator's teaching style? Typically, it's nice that they have comments, but there are specific open-ended questions that you can also use to gauge how the student is progressing throughout the fieldwork.
Okay.
And this form actually goes to the fieldwork educator. So the student fills it out, and then the educator gets a copy, and then the school will get a copy to say that it's reviewed.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Okay, so that's midterm by the student, midterm by the fieldwork educator, the week 6 form. Let me just go ahead and show you the timesheets while we're here.
Okay.
Hang on one second. Sorry.
You're good.
In order to review the timesheets, you'll click on this timesheet. And let me actually go back to one of these students. That would be easier. So I just went back to learning activities. I selected the appropriate class. And now instead of clicking on forms and evaluations, I'm going to click on timesheets.
Okay.
And here I can see these are in progress. And the yellow ones are the timesheets that have been submitted for approval. So you can click on it and just ensure that there's an educator that's been tagged if the student has been there during clinic hours to demonstrate that they were with a licensed clinician.
Mm-hmm.
This one,
holy moly.
Yeah, only. Usually there's more where they do like work on their own. So this one had 2 educators. So this one, the student didn't indicate what they were doing. Typically, they're supposed to designate their time as, if they're working on fieldwork assignments or if they are working on a project for the clinic or an in-service presentation or trainings. We've had a lot of students that have been doing, like if they're in the school systems, they've been doing an in-service presentation, or they'll do a webinar and create an in-service to present to the staff as a way to make up their hours because, they can't work weekends. So let me get back here. If everything looks good, you can just click on this top button and it'll select all of them, and then you can click approve, and then that will approve them. I think, what else did I say?
So when would you send like a question to them or say this doesn't look good? Is it just when they're under their hours, or is it when you're seeing there's things that there's a pattern where it's not designated time, where it's just random?
If you see a lot
occasional designated, undesignated times,
I think sometimes they may accidentally forget to click something, and that's okay.
Okay.
This student looks like it was just an hour and they forgot to write, worked on fieldwork assignment. So that's not a big deal. But if you have 4 hours and you don't know what the student was working on, I may just select that one and then hit not approve and say, please add a comment to indicate what your time was spent on.
Okay. So you can just select different ones for just that.
And if
the rest
you wanted to, you could select all of them, and then this one doesn't have an educator, and then you can approve those, and then just leave this one unapproved and send the student that note.
Okay, perfect. But don't get too ticky about it. It sounds like
it's going to be exhausting if you do.
Okay, good to know.
So you can pick your battles. That's not my battle to pick. If there's a lot that I'm worried about, it's a red flag. And I think I have the convenience of knowing the students. And so I know which students that I trust that are doing what they're supposed to do. And if there are some students where I might be a little bit more concerned, then those are the ones that I would kind of reach out and say, hey, can you clarify what you spent 4 hours doing?
Okay.
Let's see, this one, she's been reaching out a lot about. So see how we have all these with no educator?
It's all no educator, yeah.
Yeah, so I would definitely reach out and like, please add comments to show like what you've been doing with your time. And because they are supposed to designate it somehow. And I'll show you, because like when you set up the timesheets, you can say fieldwork assignments, you can say on site, or you can say fieldwork project. So they do have options where they should be able to select that.
Okay.
And then time off. If a student has requested time off, it'll show up in yellow here. So this student requested, looks like 5 hours off, unable to drive in due to snow ice buildup, plans for making up the missed time, and they documented here. So I can click on this and I will go ahead and approve it.
Okay.
That takes us through the midterm, week 6, and the timesheets. And now we can jump over to the discussion boards.
Okay.
Which is in Blackboard.
Are you looking at timesheets every week, or just on the weeks that you're designating on that form?
So the assignment grid shows that they're due week 7. And so when you're in the when you're in Blackboard, you can see what the assignment grid is. I don't know if you can see that very well. Here it has weekly timesheets 1 through 6. They're due on week 7.
Okay.
And so it has on here how they need to submit the timesheet, exact course activities, timesheet. And then if it's helpful, you could also look at the syllabus to make sure that, you're getting, like, you can jump to the assignments and see what it also shows the assignment grid too.
Okay.
So that might be a little helpful too. For the discussion boards, I think it's easier to grade them in, we're still kind of early, but to grade them straight from the grade book. That's been the easiest for me. So if you can click on the student and then select view submission. Let me move you over here. So here's the prompt. Describe how OT is addressing psychosocial factors, and then it'll show what the student's response is. Now, what's also nice about this view, and you can't see it yet, but the requirement is that the students comment on at least 2 of their classmates' posts. Okay. And so that's 2 total. So we have 5 discussion boards, and they only have to make 2 comments across those 5 discussion boards. And so you can see what the student has responded to this one, but then you can also see their response to other students as well.
Under their name.
Yes.
Under that student's name. So I don't have to go searching for it.
Right.
People. That's wonderful.
It is, but it's only like for that particular discussion board. So if this student commented on a different discussion board about ethics or safety, then you wouldn't see it, because it's only going to show you the threads related to this discussion board about the psychosocial aspect of OT.
Okay.
And then you can go ahead and enter in the grade right there.
Okay. So does that mean that when this is submitted that I need to check all the discussion boards, or is this assignment where they all need to respond to each other on the same discussion board thread, so to speak?
So each student will have their own response to the 5 discussion boards, and then they are going to respond to 2 peers across the 5 discussion boards. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I know that seems a little confusing, and they always get confused by it too. They're like, do I respond to 2 per board or 2 total? So it's only 2 total. So you're not seeing 10 responses. You're just seeing 2 across the 5 discussion boards. But they are required to make an initial post on each discussion board.
Okay. Of their own.
Yes. Okay. Of their own. And they actually can't post until they have posted their own initial first. So they can't comment on anything until they posted their own initial. So I thought that would make it much easier.
Okay. And then how are you keeping track of that? Do you just have like an Excel sheet where you're just kind of saying this student did 2 here, and you just quickly click through all 5 discussion boards per student, or how are you keeping track of that?
So I like when I go and grade it like this. They're divided into groups, and let's say Leah had this her initial response, and then she responded to somebody else. So I have I print off a little spreadsheet kind of their names, and then I just like make a little check mark by her name, and then yes, and then the next time, if I look at a different discussion board and she's got another response, then I just check that, and then when I'm done going through all the discussion boards, I just go through to make sure everybody has 2.
Okay. And where are y'all? Is this the 4th discussion board post, or is this how many?
They have 5 discussion boards.
Okay.
For midterm, and then 5 for final. So
are they able to do them at any point, or are they due at certain weeks?
These are due at the end of week 7, and that I put that on here, due week 7, and then also timesheets are due week 7.
Okay.
Which would be February 22nd.
So the due date is February 22nd.
Yeah, and I'm pretty flexible on the assignments, especially given the inclement weather we've had, and so I will say the students are already overwhelmed being in fieldwork, especially their first level 2 fieldwork. So I think it's really important to give them grace, and just, if you see that they haven't submitted something, to say, hey, just wanted to remind you, and then talk about what are the discussion boards for. This is the opportunity for them to reflect on their own experiences, and then they can also put their responses towards their professional development portfolio.
Okay.
And it's also, a requirement for accreditation to make sure that they are understanding specific OT principles for their practice area. And it also lets their classmates have an understanding of their practice area. Like if they're in pediatrics and other people in the group are in acute care, they may not realize what does psychosocial look like in acute care versus in pediatric outpatient. It's really important that they understand, they see the diversity of experiences. Okay. So I know it's frustrating because you're like, why aren't they just turning their stuff in? But we just have to remember where they come from, and they're already overwhelmed, and I don't want to overwhelm them more. So if I reach out to them like, hey, how are things going with your field work? How do you have a lot of projects, or how's your caseload? And then just say, because you don't know if something else is going on with them that they haven't reached out to us about yet either. I think that's really important too.
Yeah. Is it going to throw them for a loop I'm sure it's going to throw them for a loop that you're leaving.
I've had a few that have been really sad, and they've been sent really sweet messages. And then other ones that are just, more, they're just in that phase of adulthood where everything revolves around them. And they're like, what about me?
What does this mean for me?
Yeah.
I get a bit of a graduate.
So selfish. So, and again, that's just where they are in life. I think I was probably very self-centered in my 20s as well. So
I was.
Again,
yeah.
Let me show you the discussion board engagement. As I mentioned, I have a spreadsheet or a checklist or whatever, and I just make 2 little checks by it. And then here we do have, where did it go? There should be one for discussion board engagement. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's down here. I guess there's not. All right, let me add a discussion board engagement.
Is everything pass fail?
Yes.
So it's just or do it or don't do it. Is that correct?
Yes, this is absolutely correct. It's pass fail. And I'm going to give this.
And so if things are late, it's like, okay, it got done, right? You still pass them?
Yes. Like it has to be done because that's meets the criteria for graduation. So it has to be done.
Okay.
I'm just going to put 1 point and.
Okay.
Okay. So discussion board engaged. So if you have their 2 little checks, then just give them a point there.
Okay.
And that takes us through midterm. We are going to talk in detail about onboarding this afternoon. So I'm going to skim through that one.
Okay.
And then all of these in blue, I try to set up as much as I could to be automated. So I'll show you the announcements. I have announcements set up to them about, so you can see they're scheduled out for these dates here. I typically like to send messages Wednesday around lunch because beginning of the week, they're always overwhelmed. And so I like to, set them up for success. Nobody likes to get bombarded Monday morning with a bunch of emails.
Yeah.
So Wednesdays seem to be the best time for their mental health and that they can absorb it. And they're all also scheduled to be emailed to them. Hit that and I'll show you how it's all set up. So they need lots of encouragement. You know what I mean? Like anytime, you send them, it's just like, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. We're really proud of you. Any of that. I always like to keep like a little cheesy quote or picture here, but everything is sent to be emailed to them so that even if they don't check Blackboard, they should get it at their UTHSC email. Okay, so that's auto distribute. Okay, so you'll review the week 9 forms, and that's what we just did as far as reviewing the midterm forms in Exact. I never know where to put you. Okay. So going back to learning activities, class of 2026, level 2 fieldwork A, forms and evaluations. And if you want to, you can just jump to the week 9 form.
Okay.
And then obviously it's not week 9, so nobody's started yet. And the week 9 form it's the same as the week 3 form. Okay. But I did want to show you
Are you reminding them like, hey, you have week 9 form due next week, like on week 8?
Yes. So I've got
part of your Wednesday
all of these set up.
Email.
Yep. Week 9 form, week 11 check-in, week 12 check-in, final assignment reminders.
Okay.
So they should know. With the week 3 and week 9 form, it goes out to the student first. The student completes the first half, and then it goes out to the fieldwork educator. There's a question where it says, do you need a phone call or email? So that's a good one just to pay attention to see, hey, do I need to reach out? And then the fieldwork educator has the same information. Is the student safe? Are they demonstrating effective communication? Do you need a phone call or email?
Okay.
So it's always good when you check those forms just to make sure. And I mean, we also have communication set up with the fieldwork educators as well, which, let me see. Sorry, I keep going back and forth. Okay. Week 9 form. And then there's the Blackboard announcement about final assignments. Oh, there are also tutorial videos in Blackboard. Let me show those to you. And, here we go, tutorial videos. So this takes them through each week of what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
The front, not the fiber, the flesh.
And I always will just refer them like, hey, check your week 9 tutorial video. Hey, check the week 12 tutorial video and it goes through each single assignment and how they submit it and how it needs to be turned in.
Okay.
Okay. Then final fieldwork performance eval will be auto distributed. So this is set out to, I'm trying to think how I want to show you this without confusing you.
Yeah, so that's the question, right? So we find that same issue.
All right. I'm going to
Technically a fiber.
Let me see if I can move away from my husband. He's so loud.
it's okay.
What happens when you both work at home?
All right, so I'm going to show you how this is set up. It's set up for auto distribution. However, if somebody does not get a link or something because it's exact, then there's a way that you can work around and send it to them manually. So I went here and I found level OT 735, level 2 Fieldwork A, and it says, spring 2026, so it's the right one. And then we can go to set up right here. And so this indicates it's already set up for auto distribution. And it also tells you the workflow. The fieldwork educator is going to fill it out, submit the form, and the student will have access to view it. And then like us, the administrator will go over it too. And then here are the due dates for the form: 5 days after the midterm, 5 days after the end date of the placement. And then here is when it's set up to auto distribute. So it'll go out 10 days before the midterm for the midterm, and the final will go out 10 days before the end of the placement. So theoretically, this should all work, and it's worked before. So the only issue is sometimes hospitals, their firewalls or their security may not accept the notifications from Exact because it's like an unknown email.
Okay.
So when that happens, this is a new Exact too, and I don't really love it.
Is this more, well, we have this fiber strategy.
All right, so I'm going to go here where it says forms. Oh, you know what? Okay, sorry to keep jumping around. I think it'll be easier if I show you on somebody it's already been distributed, because we can't prompt it until it's already gone out. So let me go back and I'm going to show you on a placement that's already been done.
So may I ask you, for level 2 Fieldwork B that's coming up, am I going to need to set these up on the auto distribute for their placements?
No, so I've already set up the midterm and the final and to go out.
Okay.
And I've set up everything to go out for the end of this placement. So the midterm and final are already set out for auto distribution.
Yeah.
The forms, like the week 3 form, week 9 form, are already set up for auto distribution. So that shouldn't be an issue. I'll show, it'll say in this checklist what you need to send out and how.
Okay.
Now, if you have a educator who says, I didn't get the email from Exact, I need the link, can you please send it to me? So we can go here. So I just went to the learning activities and the forms for that particular placement. You would be working with OT 735.
Okay.
And then you can click on standard fieldwork performance evaluation. Excuse me. So that shows that it's been, submitted and submission date. So that's kind of like the record of, okay, who's done it, who hasn't. And then we'll click on forms and distribution. And then we'll click on the appropriate form. So that might be midterm or it might be final. So let's say this is the midterm, and I'm going to select redistribute. I just go ahead and select all the educators and then continue. And it should have the educator's name here. So you can click distribute now. So this is what I typically do. If you select override recipient's email, what is your email? K Frazier.
Crazy IE and just the IE and then the number 6 at UTHSE.
Okay. So when you click that, it's not going to send it to Rachel. It's going to send it to you.
Okay. Do you always, so if if there's those firewalls and there is they're at a, let's say they're at St. Jude, do you ever send it to their personal email, or how do you get around the firewalls to be able to resend that?
I tell the students to get the email address that the fieldwork educator wants to use. So sometimes that's their personal, sometimes that's their company one, but many times the students would just put in their personal email because it wouldn't have as many issues.
Okay.
But overall, at midterm, you should know if there are issues because of the week 3 form. So usually if they don't get the week 3 form, that gives us some time to work out like, hey, what's, do we need to change the email that's listed? Do you need to add exact notifications to your email address book? So this isn't usually an issue, but occasionally you do have educators that are more technologically challenged, and so this is a good way to work around that.
Okay.
So I just added your email to override recipient's email, and then I'm going to click next. And for this one, you want to use a standard template.
Okay.
Which just says, thank you for the time, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll click on previous. And then you can auto distribute, or you can send it now. So I'm just going to send it now.
Okay.
And that's it. So that's how you shouldn't have to do this. But if for some reason nobody gets their email or their link, then this is a way to go around it. Now you can just take that link from your email and just copy and paste it and send it directly to them.
Okay.
So that is the final fieldwork performance eval. So the next form is associated with OT 736, and it's the fieldwork objective form, and it's going to be auto distributed to the fieldwork educators and the site coordinators. And it's the same process, but I can show you. So that is class of 2027. No, wait, sorry, class of 2026, but so this is the collaboration form. It's not been done yet because obviously they haven't started this placement. And I can't show you how to auto distribute it, but it's like this. So it's not distributed yet. Let me see if you can see this setup. So this one, I'm trying to show you the form. So this is the collaboration form, and it's due 7 days before the placement start date, but it's set to go out 3 weeks before the beginning of the placement.
Okay.
And I wish okay, I guess you don't really need to see it, but it goes through and it meets a lot of our ACOTE standards as far as what type of supervision the student will have. It's showing agreement on fieldwork objectives and different things like that. So
do you have to receive that back from the fieldwork site before they can start?
That's
in an ideal world.
In an ideal world, yes. But previously, we went through reaccreditation in 2023. And when I met with the surveyors about it, we talked about this because the way that we were doing it is we were sending it out in the introductory email, and the objectives were outlined in the syllabus. And so if you don't agree with any of the objectives, please respond and let us know. And they said, as long as you're documenting a process, that you are communicating that information to the site. But recently, there have been some changes where they are enforcing that we have that agreement prior to the start of the fieldwork. So that's actually a new process for us.
How did it go this past time?
So this will be the first time we use this level 2 objectives collaboration form.
Thanks, April.
Sorry.
So does that mean I need to pause somebody from starting? they're
I would not. I would absolutely
Okay.
not.
Okay.
I would not
just
pause
kind
anybody
of
from
say,
starting.
like, should I send it?
I would
So
send it
that's
again.
auto-distributed.
It's auto-distributed. I would send it again to the fieldwork educators and say, can you please complete this so that we can meet the accreditation requirements for fieldwork? I don't know why you can't see the form.
How intense is it? Like, or is it going to piss them off that they have to do it?
I think so, but
or is it like they just sign it and?
No, it's kind of intense. I'll look for it and see if I can send it to you.
Okay.
It's not really that intense, I don't think, but.
So they need
Okay.
that. Should I say if they don't have it in by week 3, then I have a phone call with the fieldwork educator?
Yeah, I would just, email them directly. Like, you'll have their information, and you're going to be sending out. We will send out a field, like at the field, you or whoever will send out the fieldwork minutes, which let me see if we have time for that. Okay, so we talked about fieldwork objectives. All right, this goes back to onboarding, which we'll talk about this afternoon. March 18th, I've already set up this Blackboard announcement. Okay, and so this is the fieldwork minute. So this is something that we started recently where we send out communication with the fieldwork educators. Okay. And they're like these little newsletters. They're kind of cheesy, but I think they're fun. So I'll show you what it looks like, but these have already been set up for auto distribution, and I've already set up the thank you emails and their certificates to go out after fieldwork too. So again, hopefully for this fieldwork cycle, you guys should have everything that you need.
Okay.
So for placement, we're going to batch 2026. We're looking at level 2 fieldwork A. And anytime you want to reach out to the sites, you could also reach out to the students together as a whole. You could also reach out to the site coordinators, or you can reach out to the fieldwork educators. So I'm going to select educator here.
Okay.
And then this is also nice if you want to see a record of emails that have been sent. So if you look at the email dashboard, that you can say, oh, look, there's the midterm. This person opened it. This was delivered. So this is also a really nice way to make sure, hey, did they get it? Did they not? And so on. So like this one got dropped. So I'll probably need to follow up on sending hers again. So this is just kind of how you're making sure that everybody's getting the messages that they need.
Okay.
All right. So there's somebody in here called Mock, which is like my fake student that I really like. So I always test things on this one, and I'm listed as the fieldwork educator, but again, you can put in your email address just to be sure.
Okay.
So compose email, and then these are all the different ones you have. So there's fieldwork minute 1, 2, 3. And this is just what it says. On behalf of this, thank you. You can schedule it, which I told you already scheduled ours, but I'll just send it to you now.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, so those are pre-written.
Uh-huh. Yep. The templates are there.
Okay.
They are, all the attachments are there. And then there's some for this after, like the next fieldwork where you need to attach the syllabus. Mm-hmm. And so that's the only one because, I don't know, like I've done a syllabus for the next class, but it doesn't include my information on it. So if you wanted to go ahead and attach it, I could probably add it in there. But obviously the syllabi would change every single fieldwork cycle because the dates are different.
Okay.
That's probably a good stopping point because it's gotten us to the end. The last few things are just, there's an auto distribution for the emails or for the Blackboard announcement for the students. And then there's an auto distribution for the thank you emails that include the certificates for the fieldwork educators. So all that has been set up. So that is taking you through this fieldwork cycle.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
I'm a little bit overwhelmed,
I'm
but
sorry.
no, I mean, it's just that I never got to play on Exact, and I never had any fieldwork responsibilities before. So, but that's okay. I can catch up. Um, so it's going to
You'll
be
be
okay.
fine.
And you've done an amazing job with streamlining everything, and I really appreciate that. Tell me how much are you involving the rest of the faculty as far as updating them? Like, what does your role look like in like a weekly faculty meeting, and kind of what do you normally share, I guess, is what I want to know.
Any fieldwork updates? So do you have a second? I know you said you had to go at 10.
I'm okay. My kids were supposed to be in music class, but my youngest was sick this morning, so I'm home. So I'm actually good right now.
Okay. I just have a few more minutes and I have to go, but there is something. Where is it? It's at the bottom. So all of the links should be at the bottom, but this is OT 735 notes. And this is everything about all of the fieldwork placement.
Okay.
It's
Is that where you kind of keep your brain downloaded?
well, I usually just keep it all in my head, but
okay.
This is for everybody else during the transition.
Okay.
I can zoom it a little bit more effectively.
Okay.
Okay, so you have the names of all the students, where they're placed, and then everything that's going on with them. So like in a faculty meeting, I would say, if a student reached out to me or the fieldwork educator reached out to me, I would provide an update. So honestly, no news is always good news. So like for this student, you can see the dates. On 128, I spoke with the fieldwork educator. On 24, the student reached out to me to communicate. She's on day 12 without power, so that's why she hasn't been able to put anything in Exact. And and again, like they're trying to learn a lot of new skills, so they're very overwhelmed. Yeah. And so again, like, hey, there's no pressure to turn in all your assignments. And especially because I have the convenience of knowing these students. Like I know that she's doing her best. There was actually a picture of her in the ice trying to like see her home health patients. Like she's doing all she can. So I'm not, just because she doesn't have power, like I'm not going to say, oh, well, you're late on your assignment.
Sure. Okay.
But it's good to keep that proactive communication. So I know that, hey, she's okay. And that she's not forgetting about her assignments because of something else. Like this is what's going on. So I think that's helpful. Like this student, Lizzie, she had to start hers a little, like she had to shift her fieldwork schedule. So her assignments are just kind of due a week later, and that's totally fine. This one, the student, again, we've had a lot of issues with the weather because the schools have been closed for 2 weeks and, the roads have been really bad. So everything here, this student, she had issues because she felt like she was getting the majority of her supervision from a CODA versus the OT that was on staff. And so we talked about how she could really advocate and use the week 3 form to talk about her learning needs and what the requirements for supervision were, because ultimately we're preparing them for future practice. And so they need to be able to talk to their educator like they would talk to a manager, talk to, other therapists like they would talk to a coworker. And so I love, I think it's important that we have those conversations with them and that they feel supported, but ultimately we need to empower them to where they can advocate for themselves so that when they get out in the working world, they're not going to come back and be like, hey, this person's not giving me clear instructions or, they're asking me to do things that I'm not ready for. If we don't give them the skills to advocate for themselves and, for their clients, then we've really failed them.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, a lot of the time it's just about managing their emotions. It's about managing expectations, but I have put detailed notes on every single communication that I've had with the students. And then there's also when you get access to this OT fieldwork mailbox, I have it. So this is class of 2026. These are all of the communications from that. I'm talking about, so this is a fieldwork educator reaching out about the inclement weather policy, checking in with the students. This was, this is my response. This is our, what we expect. I think it's really important that we just kind of be on top of that. So everything is kept in this mailbox. When you get the thank you emails, sometimes I like to CC myself, and then that way if the educator says, hey, I didn't get the thank you email, I can just quickly go down here and download the certificate and forward it to them.
Okay.
So.
All right. I know you probably need to go. But
that's me.
That's good. So you want me to click through the links and make sure I have access to all the onboarding stuff before we meet again at 1 o'clock. Is that correct?
Is that okay? That gives you like 30 minutes to go through and make sure you can see and you have the access that you need. Like when you go to the spreadsheets, make sure that you can edit the spreadsheet.
Okay.
Like that would be, yeah. And, or, you know, if in the onboarding folder, if you need to download a document, or, I mean, I'm sure there can be a few different workarounds too. Like you could just save as or something like that. But onboarding is kind of its own separate beast. Like this hasn't been.
That's okay. It's gonna be okay.
yeah. You're gonna be amazing, and I'm really. I feel so much better knowing that you're going to be there to help everybody with this transition. And I've tried to make it as, you know, as seamless as possible. I've laid everything out. I've set as much stuff as I can for auto distribute. So, yeah. Well, I want it to be an easy transition for everybody.
Well, I know that you care about the students. It's very obvious. And I appreciate that, April. And I promise to do my best.
And you'll do amazing. Okay, so I'll plan to see you at 1 this afternoon.
That's perfect.
Okay, or 1 my time, because I guess you're Eastern.
Yeah, I'm Eastern. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'd be my time.
Do you mind when you get a chance also sending me some potential days and times for next week that you might have availability to?
Yeah, I'll work on that this morning. Okay.
I know Wednesday.
Preferences? Do you have any things that you know that you're out on for next week?
Tuesday, I've got to do a lot of. I'm trying to catch up on a lot of emails and get as much of the onboarding stuff done as I can. So I kind of designate Tuesday for that because everywhere is going to be back open. Like, you know, the schools are clean, open back up Monday. So Tuesday's kind of my day. So maybe Monday after 10 would be good. I'm fairly open at that time. Tuesday's not good. Wednesday, maybe in the afternoon, because we have like small group sessions. So I'm going to be on campus all morning on Wednesday. But maybe like, you know, after
lunch,
after lunch would be good. And then Thursday and Friday, I think Thursday I'm fairly open. So whatever your availability is. And then a little bit Friday morning or afternoon. Friday afternoon might be good. So, but again, we can make it work.
Okay. Well, I will send you some dates and times based on that. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put the links to all of our Zoom calls in that Google Doc.
Okay. Perfect. And then do you want me to just CC Ann on availability in case she wants to pop in?
You can, but I think since I'm going to record everything I worry that this might overwhelm her too.
It will. It will.
I'm trying to
She's
minimize
a big picture person.
Yeah, I'm trying to minimize the stress, and I know like this is a lot of details, and it seems complicated, but I promise it's not. Like it's very easy once you get in there.
I'm sure once I get my hands on it, it'll be okay. But you know, it's like learning anything new for the first time.
Yeah, right, there's always a learning curve.
I'm going to let you go.
So good to see you. Bye.
Bye.
I doubt it though.
Let me record. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the steps just to show you. And then and that way we can go back and forth. So I may go ahead and pull up Blackboard too. And that way we can